And Sorority Life chapter report shows disparities among philanthropy work.
And a professor teaches students how to hit the target.
All this and more.
ELN Local News starts right now. Good evening, I'm Brianna McClelland.
And I'm Rajat Agarwal. We begin tonight with winter weather coverage on this cold President's Day. Early this morning, students woke up to snow and ice covering the roads and sidewalks around campus. Dean of Students Smith Jackson emailed the ELN community informing us of the decision to delay classes until 10 a.m. Shortly after, another email was sent out closing the main campus that began at 3 p.m. this afternoon. We spoke to Dr. Jackson, who explained the reasoning behind today's delay and eventual closure. As we were watching the weather and seeing what the road conditions looked like this morning, there were reports it was getting more slick. The forecast was at 2 p.m. we were going to have freezing rain, so let's just go and make the call to cancel. Dr. Jackson noted the unpredictability of weather along with the need to provide ample notice to students, faculty, and staff for the delay notice before the cancellation. Dr. Jackson told ELN the Maroon Monday admissions event for prospective students that took place today had nothing to do with the decision to delay or close the university. He also told ELN to prepare to have a regular day of classes tomorrow, as temperatures are predicted to get into the 50s by tomorrow morning.
Now ELN's Megan Ford is outside in downtown Elon. Megan, we didn't get that snow day today. What are the chances of one tomorrow?
Well, unfortunately, the temperatures are supposed to keep warming up throughout the night, so the chances of classes being canceled tomorrow are actually pretty slim. Now, this freezing rain going on right now is making Elon pretty slippery, especially with the temperatures below freezing. Now, as we're looking around behind me, it's definitely pretty slippery out there, so I would try to avoid driving if you can. There are some icy patches out there, and this freezing rain is actually making it a lot worse. Now, again, as I said, the temperature is supposed to rise into the 40s as the night continues, so the ice should melt by class tomorrow. Now, there is still some chance that there's still a chance that we will have class tomorrow. It's just there might be a delay, there might not. It just depends on how fast that ice melts. So as the week continues, it is definitely going to start looking better. So let's go ahead and take a look at that Phoenix 5-day forecast. Tomorrow is supposed to rain, but the high is 54, much better than the below freezing temperatures right now. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be sunny and in the 50s, so we can put away those winter coats during the day, at least for this week of February. And the weekend starts off with Saturday being partly sunny and in the 60s. Definitely a big turnaround from the cold temperatures we've seen this past weekend with the snowstorm and today with this freezing rain. But hey, that's North Carolina weather for you. We're going to continue covering this winter coverage on throughout the show, but you can also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, or check out our website, elonlocalnews.com. Back to you, Brianna and Rajat.
Thanks so much, Megan. We will check back with you in downtown Elon later in the show to get an update as the weather progresses. Campus may be looking a little dreary with this winter weather, but if you're walking or driving down Haggard Avenue, you may notice it's a little brighter. Solar-operated lighting are continuing to be installed from Williamson to O'Kelly on Haggard, while the old lights are still in place. This addition to campus comes after 3 Elon students were hit by vehicles while crossing streets around Elon at night within the past year. Elon's President Emeritus Earl Danley, known to students as Dr. D, is recovering at an assisted living facility in Burlington after a series of health setbacks, according to a source with knowledge of Danley's condition. Danley checked into the facility after falling during a doctor's appointment and hitting his head. President Leo Lambert and Catholic campus minister Jerry Waterman have posted on social media with well wishes for the former president. At 91 years of age, Danley is the oldest living former Elon president.
Our Reed Stiller is in the studio with the top headlines from around the globe and around the country. Reed?
Thank you, Rajat and Brianna. 2 hospitals and a school in Syria were attacked by airstrikes this morning, but according to CNN, the attacker has yet to be confirmed. The attack killed 15 people and left 40 wounded in the town of Azaz in the Aleppo province. CNN reports the hospitals and school were used as housing for families displaced from their homes. The Turkish Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu blamed Russia for the strikes this morning, but it is still unclear who is responsible for the attacks. Moving to the United States, CNN reports New York City police are investigating an alleged assault involving former New York Governor Eliot Spitzer. A 25-year-old woman claims Spitzer choked her in a room at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan on Saturday. CNN reports a spokeswoman for Spitzer denied the accusations, and the former governor has yet to be charged with any crimes. And on Capitol Hill, the death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia was marked as a massive political debate this weekend. According to the Washington Post, within hours of the justice's death, both Republican and Democratic leaders in Congress began to voice their opinions on whether President Obama should pick the next member of the Supreme Court. Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is arguing the next justice should be picked by the future president's administration. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid has issued a statement backing President Obama's decision to pick the next justice, according to the Washington Post. Those are stories making the headlines. Rajat and Brianna, back to you.
Thanks, Reed. In local news, the North Carolina primaries are just 1 month away. Here's some things to know before you cast your ballot. First, if you haven't registered to vote, you might want to do it soon. The registration deadline for North Carolina voters is in just 4 days. Go to usa.gov to fill out the form. In order to vote, make sure you bring an updated, federally approved form of ID. Unfortunately, your Phoenix card will not cut it. And if you're not a North Carolina resident, make sure to fill out your absentee ballot and send it back to your home state to cast your vote.
Make sure you know your polling location. The closest voting site for ELN students is the Antioch Community Church on Powerline Road. The polls will be open on Election Day from 6:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m.
And South Carolina's presidential primary elections are coming up. The Republican primary is on Saturday, February 20th, and the Democratic election is the following weekend on the 27th. There are still 6 Republican candidates and 2 Democratic candidates in the race. Stick with ELN as we continue to cover the 2016 election season.
And before we elect our next commander-in-chief, today is a day to celebrate all presidents. Today is President's Day, celebrating the birthday of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, as well as remembering all presidents past and present. With the upcoming presidential election, here are a few fun facts about some of our potential presidents.
First, Republican hopeful Jeb Bush is 7 years younger than his brother, former President George W. Bush.
And U.S. Senator and Democratic candidate Bernie Sanders became the first Jewish candidate to win a presidential primary when he won New Hampshire last Tuesday. And lastly,
former Secretary of State and Democratic hopeful Hillary Clinton wanted to be an astronaut when she was younger and wrote to NASA about her ambitions.
Many of these presidential candidates focus on initiatives that help military families. I looked into how here at ELN, one student is reviving a program to do just that. The organization Team Hero worked to connect the ELN community with members of the military. The organization is currently being revised. ELN senior Megan Oliver is reviving this organization to support military families.
I think, same thing. What they're doing is great. They have an amazing, mission, amazing ambitions for the future, and I want to let them know that they're being supported as well.
Senior Brandon Greaves, ROTC member, says support is a crucial aspect of Team Hero.
It's a support base, and I think that a lot of times people don't think about the families, and they realize that it is tough, but I don't think that they understand really the magnitude of what the families go through as well.
Support can be shown even through the smallest acts. For example, Team Hero encourages students to write letters, like the one I've written to send to my brother who is currently deployed in Kuwait. Oliver and Greaves both agree communication is one of the most important aspects of Team Hero.
And I think that it's so important to really tell people who aren't always here, you don't get to see every day. Your service and your sacrifice for our country really does matter. And it makes a difference in my life, it makes a difference in the lives of others.
If you are interested in learning more about Team Hero, you can check out the full story on elonlocalnews.com.
Now, Team Hero isn't the only organization on campus raising money for charity. Greek organizations nationwide and at ELN often say philanthropy is one of the most important aspects of their chapter. Our Michelle Alfini looked into ELN's latest Fraternity and Sorority Life chapter report to see what it means for organizations on our campus.
It really is a big part of why a lot of my sisters we are in Tri Delta. It's a big part of what speaks to us and what we're passionate about. And I think that is translated in the amount of money we've been able to raise.
The passion former Delta 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 philanthropy chair Elena Shoecraft has for her sorority's philanthropy may not be unique, but the amount of money she's talking about is. According to the report, while she was philanthropy chair for the sorority, it raised more than $70,000 for St. Jude Children's Hospital. To put that in perspective, that's about 1/3 of all money raised by fraternity and sorority life at ELN.
It's a number that we're incredibly proud of.
But not every organization has such high numbers. According to the report, the annual donations by other Pan-Hellenic organizations range from more than $23,000 to under $500. The numbers in the Interfraternity Council range from donations of $1,000 to more than $17,000. The differences between the organizations are clear, but IFC President Michael Goldstein says the numbers may not accurately depict how much each chapter does for their philanthropies.
And I don't think it's more important to one fraternity or one sorority than it is for the other. I think we all want to make the community better.
This chapter report is incomplete in another way. 6 ELN fraternities and sororities did not report any money raised for their philanthropies. According to Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life Dan Fail, reporting to the university is optional, but all numbers included in the report have been verified through the organization and Kernodal Center. Fail says the purpose of the chapter report is to show off the chapter's accomplishments and give the university an idea of which chapters may need more support from the Council or the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life. Michelle Alfini, ELN Local News.
For more details on how much organizations raise for their selected charities, visit elonlocalnews.com.
Coming up next, one local high school student is a step ahead of the game when it comes to academics.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck.
So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Welcome back to ELN Local News. Earlier this week, the ELN Board of Trustees approved the new fiscal budget for the 2016-2017 fiscal year. While tuition will remain below the cost of competing private universities, it is still being raised to $44,599. The new cost of attending ELN is an increase by 2.87%, about $900. According to an email sent to faculty and staff by President Leo Lambert, the university has plans to cap the class of 2020 at 1,525. Aside from tuition, the budget allows for the university to hire 9 new full-time faculty to keep the 12-to-1 faculty-to-student ratio. In addition, they plan to hire 15 new staff members and fill 5 physical plant positions to help support ELN's expanding campus.
Some students are getting a break on tuition, but also doing twice as much work. Our Kaylee Tracy looked into how these students are getting college credit on a high school degree.
The dismissal bell is a familiar sound for students at Southern Alamance High School, but senior Lacey Breen is not an ordinary student.
When I say I'm taking ELN classes, they're like, wow, look at you. And I'm like,
Breen is part of Collegiate Start at ELN, a program where high school students take up to 2 college courses. According to the program's director, Dr. Janelle Rouse, they have to meet the same admissions requirements as ELN undergraduates, including GPA, SAT or ACT, teacher recommendations, and an application process.
They are sending a student with great character, one of their upstanding, high-achieving student, and then also the student will be able to handle and is ready for high college-level work.
Breen spends half of her Mondays and Wednesdays sitting at a desk in Southern High School, and the other half sitting at a desk in a classroom here at ELN. Breen says she's up for the challenge of college, but acknowledges it's difficult compared to high school. She says, however, students at ELN are more mature than her fellow high schoolers.
some of them don't even care. I'm sure when they're paying for it, they're going to care.
But for the students who do care, the lowered tuition of $420 per semester helps. Most come from Western and Williams high schools in Burlington, with just a few from Cummings and schools farther away.
Some of the things that we struggle with is access to campus. That's always a struggle for students who are in some of our outlying schools and who don't have transportation, particularly for our low-income students.
Regardless of where the students come from, Dr. Rouse says all are treated like college students, something Breen notices.
The professor was like, well, you're not a senior no more. We're going to treat you like a college student, and they do.
Breen got into ELN, and with financial aid's help, she hopes to attend in the fall. Kaylee Tracy, ELN Local News.
Getting to campus for students like Breen have just gotten a lot easier. The Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation now offers a bus system that services various cities in the Piedmont Triad region, including Burlington. Starting next Monday, ELN University Transportation will have a van service from campus to the PART Route 4 Alamance Burlington Express Route bus stop. The PART bus will leave from Alamance Regional Medical Center and make stops in Greensboro, Mebane, Whitsett, and Chapel Hill. The ELN University Connector service is free, but PART Route 4 is $3 one way. Those over 60 will receive a 50% discount. The Connector van service will run Monday through Friday, and people can catch it at the Inman Admissions Center BioBus stop. And right when we get back, we stopped by one place in Burlington where you can find your release.
Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Elon Local News. I'm Justin Beagle. Tonight we begin with an Elon professor who teaches students a different way to defend themselves. Our Andrew Feather checked it out.
They're just tools. That's all it is. You can romanticize or whatever. It's just machine parts. It's what you want to do with it.
Elon self-defense instructor Jason Thomas had a career as a cage fighter, but after suffering an injury, he had to find a new hobby.
Unfortunately, 8 years ago, I damaged my neck pretty severely. I have 4 herniated discs in my neck, and the doctor told me I was done fighting.
When his career ended, he focused on helping others get into fighting, teaching martial arts and self-defense classes at Elon and in his own studio. He says sometimes knowing how to defend yourself physically isn't enough, so he trained with guns to better protect himself and his family.
As a dad, more than anything, it's convinced me that I need to do what a man needs to do. I need to show my kids how to garden. I need to show them how to take care of themselves, how to handle a weapon if need be. And that part really made me step up more than being a martial artist or anything else.
He says while people need to understand the damage guns can do, they should also know how to use one properly. So he invites his students to his personal gun range in Graham for lessons.
Thomas says it's important to learn proper safety and technique before you load the gun and fire.
What we will go through is actually how to handle the gun, how to hold it correctly, finger off the trigger until we are ready to shoot.
He takes students through the basics, including how to safely load and hold a gun and set their feet for the shot.
Perfect.
Thomas says guns may not be for everyone, but it is important to know how they work.
I'm not a super proponent of guns. I'm not saying everybody should have a gun, but I think everybody should be informed.
Andrew Feather.
That's it, dead center. That was perfect.
Elon Local News.
Thomas invites students to reach out to him if they are interested in learning how to properly use a gun. Check out elonlocalnews.com for his contact information. And now switching from fields, the women's basketball team annual Play for K game was this Sunday. Play for K is a basketball game dedicated to raise money for the K-Yow Women's Cancer Fund. Players, fans, and coaches dressed in pink for the event, and family members of the players were recognized for their fight. Head coach Charlotte Smith said it's a great way to bring awareness and encourage those with cancer to keep fighting. K-Yow was a beloved former Elon basketball coach who died in 2009 after her third bout with breast cancer.
Well, K-Yow, was a great ambassador for women's basketball, and we're just proud to have this Play for K event because, this is where K-Yow got our start here at Elon.
The women's basketball team may have been shooting hoops, but this week I spent my day finding out shooting a different target.
Steady, aim, fire.
I hear something, look down below me, and the bear is pretty much under my tree. Walks out to about 30 yards, and I was able to get a shot off.
For Carson Corey, hunting is a way of life.
I've been hunting ever since I was little. I was finally able to shoot when I was 6, so I was able to take my first deer, and from then on, I've just been hooked.
His passion turned into an occupation in 2008 when he opened Buttermilk Creek Archery in Greensboro. When another archery store opened down the road, Corey left shop and moved right here to Burlington. With his wife Lindsay by his side, Corey now has a fully operational store, repair shop, and archery range.
Somebody pretty much told me that all I did was hire myself a boss. So, she kind of keeps me straight, keeps me in line.
And what's a happy marriage without some friendly competition?
I say it's luck. She says it's skill.
No, not exactly true. Definitely skill.
When the two aren't running the shop, they're teaching archery lessons to a variety of age groups. And I was able to get some rookie tips.
Corey says archery is more than just a sport. It's a way to release.
It's therapy. It's a way to get out there. You got your cell phone turned off. You don't have calls coming in all the time. I don't have to worry about work.
But it's not just about the relaxation. Sometimes it's the shot that does the trick.
Hunting is all about 3 hours of sitting for 5 seconds of excitement. But those 5 seconds of adrenaline or excitement are worth every minute.
So whether you're looking to relax or even train for the next Hunger Games, BMC hits the bullseye.
Corey and his wife are also featured on the Pursuit channel in a TV show called The Final Draw. They donate all of their meat from their kills to the local food bank for those struggling to find their next meal. That's it for sports this week. I'm Justin Beagle. For the most up-to-date sports coverage throughout the week, check us out online at elonlocalnews.com and on social media at ELN Sports.
Coming up next, some college students say it's hard to stay balanced, but I'll tell you about one trend helping keep students leveled.
Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hey, I'm Tyler Perry. Do you know what hunger in America looks like? Well, it has many faces, and 16 million of those belong to children. Yet billions of pounds of food go to waste each year, and this is unacceptable. You can be a part of the solution. Join us in supporting the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, which rescues our surplus foods and provides meals to many families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org today. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
You've seen them on wrists in a variety of colors, loci bracelets. Our Selena Guevara explains this new trend on today's College Consumer.
In life, we all have highs and lows, but it's important to always keep it balanced. That's what Steven Iser had in mind when developing the loci bracelet. I looked into the story behind the beads. Official loci bracelets are made of translucent silicone beads. One side is a white bead with water from Mount Everest. On the opposite side of the bracelet is a black bead containing mud from the Dead Sea. According to the loci website, the bracelets carry the message to stay humble when you feel on top of the world and to stay hopeful when you've hit a low, something Boho Blue manager Tracy Branley agrees with.
Everything else is just in between. So it just helps me to realize, hey, things are going to be okay.
Besides the classic loci bracelets, the company is creating colored brands to promote various causes. The newest variation is the purple loci. According to the website, the company will donate $1 to the Alzheimer's Association for every purple bracelet sold in the month of February. Currently, Boho Blue is the only store in Alamance County that carries the bracelets. Branley attributes it to the success of the shop.
Of course, they are the most popular. We have tons of people coming in each and every day asking for them.
According to their website, 10% of Loci's proceeds go towards giving back to the community through a variety of charitable alliances. Besides the Alzheimer's Association, Loci makes red bracelets for Save the Children, pink bracelets for Susan G. Komen Foundation, blue bracelets to provide clean water to people in Ethiopia, and green bracelets supporting the World Wildlife Foundation. For this week's College Consumer, I'm Selena Guevara. Rajat and Bree, back to you.
Before we go, let's take one more look at downtown Elon. Megan, any updates for us?
It was pouring seconds ago. Now it's starting to light up just a little bit, but that's pretty much to be expected till about 8 p.m. And then from 8 to 1, it's going to be a mix of freezing rain and regular rain. And then after 1 a.m., it's going to start becoming regular rain. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Rajat and Brianna, back to you.
Thanks, Megan. And that's all we have for you tonight.
For more news and up-to-date coverage, check us out on ELNlocalnews.com. From all of us here at ELN, have a great night and stay safe.